Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dokkan battle video, and today we're going to do a team building guide for the new Year 8 LRs. And so what we're going to do in this video is we're going to look at several team builds with them as the leaders and looking at what are some good teams that we can build with them as the leader. Now keep in mind they do fit onto many other categories, so you can use these guys on other teams with other units as the leader, but in this video I'm going to focus on them as the leaders, and there are some really nice teams you can build with them. And so what I'll do is I'll showcase some sample team builds that I think work pretty well. And then I'm just going to show you a bunch of other units that you can use on these teams. Because what's going to happen is I'm going to show you some team builds, and there's going to be units that you may not have on those team builds. So I will show you a big plethora of units that you could use to substitute in those slots to build kind of the best team that you can with these units, right? So let's go ahead and take a look here. So this first team build, this would be with the GT duo as the leader. Now keep in mind, some of these team builds you could kind of intermittently change either one as the leader. But this is kind of like I guess I would call this like the meta team build, where like all of these units are like top tier in the meta, right? So you've got the GT Year 8s, and then you got the Super Saiyan 3 Year 8s, and these units link really well together. So if you have both of them, using them both on the same team is a pretty good idea, because they do link really well together. So that would be one. And then we've got the Trunks and Vegeta duo. They're really good. They can be a great slot 1 unit. They don't even have to like link great with the other unit, and they'll still do just fine. So in this team build, you would do a rotation of the 2 Year 8s together, and then the Trunks and Vegeta with another Year 8. They don't link the craziest, but they link decent enough, right? And then you've got Orange Piccolo, who's like one of the best. I mean, if you look at this team has the 3 best units in the game on it, right? So these guys are considered to be top 3. Piccolo's considered to be top 3, and Bulma's considered to be top 3 by most of the community, right? So this team build is just like, let's put all of the best units in the game on the same team, and you definitely can do that. This spot's a little bit more flexible if you wanted to put like a support unit or something there, but this physical god Goku's still really good. I would say the only issue you could have with the team build like this, it's got almost too many units that you want on rotation, so you're going to have to kind of decide. I think Orange Piccolo, though, he works pretty well as a floater, because you can just float him, and then eventually he gets his Orange Piccolo mode, and you can just pop that from slot 3 and you're good to go. So I don't mind floating him, and Bulma's like a ridiculously good floater, right? But you may have to decide, like, you may want to keep this guy on rotation because he stacks defense. So you could try Vegeta and Trunks in slot 3 or something like that as well, right? But that's an example team build where it's like, I'm just going to put all the meta on one team. You totally can do that. Here's another team build, and this is focusing on AGL LR Gohan. And this team allows you to fully get Gohan's transformation and get his full effect. And he's a ridiculous unit, right? So the idea with this team build is we are going to put the Spirit Bomb Absorb Goku, who is going to get his EZA during the anniversary, right? So he's not fantastic right now at the time I'm recording this, but he will eventually be actually really good. And you can use him as a floater on rotation, but in this team build, you would run him on rotation with Gohan because they're like perfect linking partners. And then when Gohan transforms, he gets a huge attack buff by having a Super Saiyan Goku next to him. So that's going to be really good. And then we have MVP Android 17, and he's a really nice support unit that counts as an android, which will make it so Gohan can always transform. So this is just a really nice team setup and a nice build. And what you do here, I actually like this team build quite a bit, and I actually like this more than the first one, because I feel like this team build is really cohesive, right? Because you're running a Gohan with a Goku as like a legit rotation, you're running the 2 Year 8s as a rotation, and then you're floating 17 and Bulma, who are natural good floaters. The only bad floater you're using is you just have to float a second copy of this guy, but that's pretty common that you have to do that on team builds. If you're not running the leader on both rotations, you're going to have to float a leader, right? So I feel like this team build might be my favorite team build for the GT duo. I really like it, right? Now, keep in mind, both of the Year 8s lead Power of Wishes. The only difference is one of them, the main leader skill is Battle of Fate, and the other one is Final Trump Card. Okay, so and then I think they get the opposite one for the extra 30%. So you could argue that they're basically the same leader. There's only a few tweaks that you would change. So just keep in mind, for the most part, the leaders could be swapped if you wanted to. Like if you like the Year 3s better, or the Super Saiyan 3s better, you could do that. But Most people consider the GT duo to be a little bit better, so I did a couple of team builds here with just them as the leader, because you'd probably rather have two of them. But it depends, because these guys are Super Saiyans, so they link a little bit better with other Super Saiyans. So it depends on how you want to run it, right? So here's a team build that's more specific to the Super Saiyan 3s. Because they have Final Trump card as a main leader skill, what I like about this team build is you can get the year 5s together as a rotation, and they are absolutely deadly as a rotation. Once again, they're not good now, but they are going to EZA during the anniversary, so you want to be prepared and ready to go. Having them as a rotation is absolutely ridiculous. And then you could do a year 8 rotation again, right? I like this AGL Gogeta. I think he's fantastic. You can use him as a floater, and he's fine. Sorry, I'll call my wife back later. I should have put do not disturb on. Actually, we'll just do that right now so I can finish the video. So yeah, he can work as a floater, but he's really good on rotation as well. But you get him transformed and he's dodging like crazy. And then, like, dude, if you have Bulma, you're gonna put her on every single team that you can. She is the ultimate, like, best support unit in the game, so you gotta run her if you got her. Now, I know a lot of people that are watching this won't have her, so we'll show some other options that you can run here, right? So here I'm just going to show a bunch of units that fit between the two leader skills, like different units you can run. So there's actually like a pretty good chunk of extreme class units you can run. Now, I don't know that I would recommend running like a full extreme team and then just like having the year 8s floating around. It's not going to be super cohesive, but doing a rotation of extreme units can actually work just fine. So an example would be you could do, so let's say you don't have all of the units that I have and you need like strong units on rotation. Running like this LR Goku Black Zamasu with like Insamasu as a rotation, and then the other one could be a super rotation, and then you float whatever floaters, like that can work, right? Having a cooler here with this cooler can definitely work. The other thing I should point out, actually I should check, I don't know, yeah, it depends on the team build, but this guy can potentially float with super class units because he is a support unit for transformation boost. So if you're running transformation boost super class units, like you could mix this guy in with super class as a supporter, definitely. But running a cooler rotation is really good. Somebody like Turles could float on a super or an extreme class build because he's going to support everybody. And then Golden Frieza, Golden Frieza is an easy like slot in for any team build. So if you're just looking for like a floater, you could just float this guy and he's going to reduce damage. And this goes for like the banner unit Golden Frieza. So there's another tech and an AGL one. They can definitely just be like slide-in units. If you just want units that can like tank damage in like slot 3, any of the Golden Friezas could definitely slide in there, right? Some other options for super class, if you want to run Beast Gohan, you definitely could make him work on a team. The year 7s I think are still good enough to run for sure. So you could put them on the team builds as their own rotation. You could like link this guy up with the GT duo. They're going to link up pretty well. The only thing I don't like about the GT duo is they don't have Saiyan Roar. So they're not going to get that Saiyan Roar link with the other Super Saiyan 4s, which is kind of unfortunate, right? This God Goku's very good, got his EZA. By the way, there's a bunch of like banner unit God Gokus that got EZAs. Like, depending on your box, like those might be decent options for you, right? Ant Namek Goku I think is still decent enough that you could run. I wanted to throw these guys on here. They're not getting their EZA for a little bit on Global, but like for when they do, they are absolutely ridiculous and they fit in on these teams. So they definitely could be an option you could run at some point. If you want to do like a full Super Saiyan 4 build, like all these Super Saiyan 4s, you can get these on the leader skill for sure. So if you want to run a whole bunch of Super Saiyan 4s, you can. Just keep in mind that like the actual GT Year 8 LR does not have Saiyan Roar. They still link really well. They've got GT and all these other links, but they don't get Saiyan Roar, which is kind of unfortunate, right? UI Goku I think is always an option. Even if you just want him, there's a floater that can dodge. UI Goku is always an option you can run. My boy Physical Piccolo is premium as well. And going back to like, you know, the first team build I had here with Orange Piccolo, this was Orange Piccolo as a floater. But if you want Orange Piccolo to be a focus, you can run a rotation with him in Physical Piccolo. That is one of the best rotations in the game. So I had to make sure to get Physical Piccolo in here because he's a ridiculous unit you can run as well. And then just a few more units on the side. Cell could be a part of an extreme build, or you can float Cell on a Gohan build, and he also can get Gohan's transformation. But I think Android 17 is just a better option because he's a support unit, and he's going to link better with some of those units where Cell won't. But he's there. I think Goku Black, if you're doing an extreme build, he can be solid. it's kind of crazy to say, but Tech Ultimate Gohan is still okay to run as long as you're going to, you know, keep him on rotation and build up his defense. I think if you're desperate for some floating support units, you could try Master Roshi. Just keep in mind, like, he only supports Turtle School, which is going to be like the Goku units. So all the joined units with Vegeta won't be on there, Gohan won't be on there. So it's got to be a specific build where you want to run like solo Goku units and have this guy. You can run Master Roshi even if he's not supporting, just because he does have a revive, but he is starting to age a bit, right? This Goku, if you're just desperate for a support unit, you can run him, but he's not really red zone viable, but he is a decent little support unit that'll support everybody. And then this Gohan, a lot of people won't have this guy because he is a World Tournament EZA, so it just depends on if you used your World Tournament stuff to EZA this guy. But if you did his World Tournament EZA, he is like a really solid support unit you can run that stacks defense. Just keep in mind, he only supports AGL Tech and Physical. So if your team build has like your main rotation units fit into those typings, this Gohan could be a decent support option for you. So anyways, guys, there you go. Those are some of my sample team builds. Let me know what team build you are running with the Year 8 units. If you need more help with team building, feel free to join my Discord. My Discord is posted in the description of all my videos. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one.